I'm here at the shore at Portchester. This is Wicker Bay and the tide is out. Let's have a little rummage around in the mud and see if we can find anything interesting. Now, I've been here before and I found a few interesting bits of china and glass and little bits and bobs. This is this has been an industrial dumping ground at various times in the past, so there's a whole bunch of rusty nuts and bolts there, for example. And I think just down over there there's the remains of a bottle dump. So that's where we're going to try and head today and see what we can find. Quite slippery because this seaweed is very fresh and newly grown, and it's very, very slippery. So I've just got to watch my footing. Massive limpet there on a rock that's too small for it. That is a huge limpet. I've never seen one that shape before. Almost like double. But we're not here for wildlife. Not primarily, anyway. We are here to see if we can find some treasure. So down toward the water we can see there's bits of pottery, bits of broken bottle. I'm going to try to restrain myself. I'm going to try and restrain myself today and not take home any broken bits and pieces of stuff. I'm going to try and only take home the finds that are really worth keeping. Actually, the tide has only just gone out, so it's still quite soft underfoot here. I shall have to be very careful. Still a bit squelchy. Piece of blue glass there. Piece of an old jug or something there, and that looks like, oh no, it's just an oyster shell. I thought that was going to be the ceramic top from like a stoneware jar. So getting into the area now, you can see there's a bottom of a small bottle, lots and lots of broken glass here. More than I can possibly take away. A little metal ring there. It's probably just a curtain ring or something. Don't think that's going to be valuable. A couple of bits of patterned ceramic there, but we're seeing lots and lots of broken glass here. It would be really nice if I could pick up all this broken glass and take it home to prevent it being a hazard to people's pet dogs that they walk on here. But I just think I would hardly make a dent in it, to be honest. It's not, there's a little copper thing there. A piece of brass or copper. No idea what that might be. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if I could take away all these bits of broken glass and make the beach a bit safer, but I think it would be a drop in the ocean, really, and I'd end up carrying a ton of glass off of here for almost zero effect. Okay, we're starting to get right into the edge of the main dump area now, so we've got things like this. There's a piece of pottery with, don't know who that is, but yeah, a piece of pottery. I'm not taking broken pieces of pottery home today. What have we got here? Base of a bottle. Oh, a Chinook. Chinook helicopter up there, very distinctive sound those make. It's the base of a very small plate or dish. Well, here's something interesting. I'm not going to be taking it home, but that's the internal thread of a ginger beer bottle or something like that. Have you seen those vulcanized rubber bottle stoppers? That's what they screw into on the inside. We might be lucky and find one of those bottle stoppers today. That's not an uncommon find around here. I have actually found one on this beach before. Anyway, we're going to keep on looking. Haven't really found anything yet that I feel like I want to take home with me, but we'll keep looking. Interesting here, this is an animal bone of some sort, probably pig or lamb maybe. Last time I was here I found loads and loads of bones here, and I was a bit puzzled about it, and I mentioned it in the video, and somebody informed me, and it was quite interesting, that up over to the left of me, which I'll have a look at in a minute, but wind noise, there was what was called a bone works here. And Portchester Bone Works was like a animal rendering plant where they made glue and fertilizer out of animal bones and hides and so on. I'm just going to turn the camera now, there will be some wind noise. It was up over where those houses are. That used to be the Bone Works right there. And you can tell just from the colour of the glass and the thickness that some of these bottles are quite old, but unfortunately I still haven't found anything intact, and I'm not taking pieces home. Of course this shore has probably been picked over and over by people thousands of times already, so it's quite unlikely that I will find anything intact or worthwhile, but you never know. We did have some storms recently, so something might have been unearthed out of the mud, and there might be treasure underneath all of this seaweed, but I'm not going to rake it all out of the way. I'm just really looking for what's in evidence and what can be found on the surface and is visible to the naked eye. There's a little tile there. Oh, that's nice. Okay, yeah, I think that's coming home with me. I did get a tiny bit excited here for a moment because I saw this tile and it's got some sort of pattern on it, and I thought maybe this was like a medieval floor tile. It's not thick enough, I don't think. No. And I think that pattern is just where seaweed's been growing on it, so that can stay there. I can see something else here. What's that there? It's just a stone. Okay, we'll keep looking. This is one of these places in the world where boats come to die. Quite often you'll find old boats here, and they stay here resting on the tidal mud until one day they don't float again, and then they gradually decay and disappear into the mud. So a lot of the things you might find here in the mud have come off a boat that fell apart. Oh, that's nice. An old glass bottle stopper. Yep, that's coming home with me. Bit of an old toilet or something, I reckon. Now, somewhere like this, quite close to Portsmouth over there, major city, you do have to be a little bit careful, I suppose, when you're rummaging around in the mud, especially when you're looking at metal things, because it's a possibility that some of the metal things you might find here are unexploded bombs or other unexploded ordnance from the Second World War. So that's a possibility to bear in mind. Not a huge risk, I don't think, and certainly something, but just certainly something to be a little bit mindful of and careful about. I found a marble. Is it a whole one? Yes. Not very old, I don't think. maybe like 1960s or something, but that's coming home with me. Now I was hoping, and I am still hoping, that we were going to find some clay pipes down here, and I keep seeing these, which is just the rim of a cockle shell sticking up, and it keeps making me have a little jump. But oh, look at that, it's a shoe sole. Leather sole from a shoe. I don't think that's particularly old. What else have we got around here? Another marble. This one looks a little bit older. And also, just as I stood up from the marble, there's this. An unfired... It's an unfired bullet. I'm not going to keep that, and I don't think it's worth handing in. What I'm going to do is actually chuck it out, way out into the mud there. It'll sink and it will rot away and become safe on its own. I think that seems like the most sensible thing to do with that. I'm not taking that home. There's another one there. Another unfired round. But yeah, I'm just going to wing that right out into the deep mud. Oh, I've got to be careful. Standing still for too long in this mud, you just slowly sink in. And that would be bad if the tide were to come in. I'm stuck. Okay, possible excitement here. Is that a pipe stem? Is that a clay pipe stem? No. It's a piece of cable insulation. Oh well. Right over the top of me that time. Nope, again getting a bit sinky here, so I can't go much further out than that. I've only got my duck boots on, so I'm not going to go wading. Just don't think that'll be a very good idea anyway. Now that's the carbon rod out of a zinc carbon battery. Another marble. It seems to be a day for marbles. This outfall pipe here, this is just a drainage outfall pipe, has obviously washed away some of the surface sediment. So I was just looking here in case it exposed anything interesting. But apart from that marble, that appears to be it. Hello, is this a coin? No, it's half a pebble. Oh well. So this is definitely part of an engine here. That's the crankcase there, that's the crankshaft. And I imagine what happened is there used to be a boat here, and the boat has just sunk and rotted away, and the bit that's left is that engine. Do you reckon we can get that going? Morning. Interesting little thing here, another ceramic screw thing of some sort. We'll take that home and have a look at it. Okay, could this be? Oh, I think it is. No, I thought that might be a cannonball, but I think it's just a rock. Oh, that would have been such a find, wouldn't it? But it's just a round pebble. I don't think it's inconceivable that a cannonball could be found here, because there's Portchester Castle just down there. There's all kinds of military history here, so it's not impossible, but that just wasn't what it was this time. Another drainage outfall here, so worth looking around here just to see if the water gushing out of there has exposed anything interesting from under the surface. Yet another marble. There's a handle off of a teapot or something maybe, or a jug. Got a kind of barley twist design to it. Not taking pieces home today though. This could be a coin. Yes, I think it is. I think that might be a sixpence actually. We'll take that home and very carefully clean it. This here, I'm sure of it, is a cobbler's. Is it a cobbler's last? Is it called a... But it's a shoemaker's tool. They have that on their bench and they put a leather shoe on there and work it on that end. I'm sure that's what that is. It's in very, very poor condition and I'm not taking it home. There's also this, which is like a hatch or something. I'm finding fewer and fewer artificial items now, so I'm probably going to call it a day in just a moment. I don't know what that is. Perhaps a catch from the end of a cable. Yeah, I think that might have had a cable going through it and been bolted to something. Interesting, but I don't think I'm taking that home today. Okay, well I think I'm about done now, so I'm going to head back to Atomic Shrimp HQ, clean up these finds, and we can just review today's treasure. Okay, time to review my finds. So, this I think, well this is ceramic. This I think is a stopper from a lead acid battery. So like a car battery or probably a boat battery in fact. And I think that would have screwed into the top of the battery. There are little holes there that vent all the way through to the other side. So I think that was just a stopper for where you would top up a lead acid battery with distilled water. So that's what I think that is. Obviously, if you've got a more certain idea on any of these things, do let me know in the comments. This one, which I thought was ceramic, but actually turns out to be some sort of very hard plastic, is, I don't know, my guess is that's a waterproof cover for some terminal or something like that on a boat engine, perhaps outboard motor. It's got a screw thread on it, so that would have screwed tight, maybe with a little rubber O-ring or something around it. Waterproof cover for something electrical, I think. Don't know. What do you think? 5 marbles, one of which is quite different from the others. These aren't all exactly the same actually. I would say probably that one's the oldest, just by the condition of the glass and the finish, but they're all much of a muchness in terms of design. This one, also glass, but opaque and green and smaller. I don't know if that's a marble for playing marbles or if maybe that's a playing piece off a game like Solitaire or something. Bottle stopper, glass bottle stopper. This is a really nice piece actually, and it's in very good condition. It's almost pristine. Often when you find these on the seashore, they've been tumbled in the surf and they're really worn. But this one's still got, you can still see it, you can still actually feel a parting line there for a mould, and you can still feel where it's been cut off. So this is hardly worn at all. So that's a nice find. Nice little ceramic tile, not old at all, but intact, so I thought it was worth keeping. I might use it for something, I don't know what at the moment. Anyway, I think that was originally probably all blue, but it's dirt has got under the glaze, probably from the backing. That might fade over time, that might fade back to blue. And then these 2 coins. Now the larger of the 2 coins, I've managed to identify that is just a modern penny, although it's a modern copper penny, so that's from before the date when they switched to copper jacketed steel. I could recognise it's a penny because I can just make out the portcullis grid design on the obverse. This one I'm afraid is just too badly worn to be able to identify. A small copper coin, the edges are worn down so they're almost completely like a knife edge.
I thought I could make out one or two little letters around the side, but nothing distinct. I'll take some close-up photos of that and blow them up on the screen so that you get a chance to have a look at it. Maybe some detail of the corrosion or layout will trigger somebody's visual memory of what this coin might be. It might just be a halfpenny, decimal halfpenny. It doesn't look quite small enough. Or it could actually just be a modern penny that's been worn right down by corrosion until that's all that's left of it. So favourite find out of all of these, I think, is probably this little green marble, which I think is just rather beautiful. And most exciting find today, I suppose, is that unfired ammunition, which was a bit of a surprise. 2 pieces of it in more or less the same location, so presumably like a box or a handful of ammo got dropped there into the water. Didn't bring that home. I believe the right thing to do there for small amounts of that is just chuck it way out into the channel so that nobody will find it, or by the time they do it will have rusted away to nothing. I imagine from being immersed in the water for this long there wouldn't be any danger from the propellant inside that shell anymore. So that was my little bit of mudlarking. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.